Greetings, humans! Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, people. That's where bears live. Yes, indeed. Holy cow. Man, oh man, I tell you what, people, it is 7 out of 8 TikTok women agree they would rather see a man, wait a minute, no, a bear in the woods than a man. YouTube's #1 review show by a bear. According to the old Felch, murderer of over 20,000 people. It's crazy, people. It is craziness out there. Great to have all of you here with us today with the Inglorious bear. Yes, indeed. People says, my goodness, this bear has worked out. He would definitely choose a man over this bear. Oh, my goodness. Ay. You better watch out, man. Better watch out. Hanging out there in the woods, people. We have just a complete, full show for you good people. I literally just, this weekend got done reading Inglorious Rex. Literally just got in on Monday. Godlike. So I flipped through that, did the box open, flipped through it a little bit. It looks really good. Looks really, really good. But I haven't read it yet. So we will be doing a head-to-head matchup of old Inglorious Rex #2 and Godlike #1 for you good people. Hopefully Saturday. I still need to read the book. It is, holy cow, people, that is a thick book, Godlike is. It is not only in page count, but also just the tome that John Malin is writing out there for everybody. It is a very thick book, so we need to take a moment to make sure that we got everything. But we'll get into that uno momento here. But I want to thank everybody out there. This Saturday, Bear Canada. Oh, they did get in. Congratulations. Versus Florida. Begin battling for the Stanley Cup. The Oilers, right? God. You're really pulling at Bears' love of the United States and love of Florida. Not the team, but the state. Man, I may have to pull for Canada on that one. They pulled some dirty tricks. Florida did. Yes, they did. So I hope your Oilers are up to it, P-Bunny. Hopefully it will be a good battle royale, and they won't put the entire thing on ESPN, so maybe Bear can catch a game or two out there. So, very good. Very, very good indeed. All right, I was talking about comic books. I do have a number of campaign updates. So let's jump right on into it, people. Of course, we always want to give a shout-out here to poor old Gary Shipman. We need to get him going here with Tight Mouse of Might, Volume 3. Still top 5 book out there for Bear. Definitely top 5. So do go check that out. And you'll get to find out if Inglorious Rex or Godlike kind of cross that threshold. So we shall see. But there you go. Check that out if you have the time up on Indiegogo. And of course, let's see. We also got Uncle E. You could push him past 623 to 624. He's got 623 900. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Keeping an eye on that. But we have, if Bear can find it, it's not completely lost. Already lost. 7 minutes in and we're already lost. For crying out loud. From your boy Zach. That would be Richard C. Meyer. He says, Jawbreakers contingency coloring is a complete! Hi, everyone. Hi, you boy. Coloring on the Jawbreakers contingency is complete. Thanks. And that's from Richard. So there you go. Watch out, dude. Don't let that lightning strike you like it struck Bear. You might be speaking all sorts of languages. All sorts. Bear did not do the, fist in hand whenever he got struck by lightning. So it hurt quite a bit. I didn't really have too much of Yeah, let me make it a really cool pose while I'm getting struck by lightning, man. Didn't have that foresight there. So if you do have Jawbreakers, look it out for it. Hopefully it's coming here pretty shortly for you good people. That's neat. And we've also gotten, if Bear can find it here, people, one of these days. I tell you, people, professional show one of these days. Not today. What are we, 8 minutes into it? Barely 8 minutes into it. Bear's already screwing up. Communist bears? Ah, for crying out loud. Actually, you know what? Hopefully, maybe one of these days we'll see the USAssassin Jawbreakers crossover. That would be an interesting one there. Roddy Piper teams up with the USAssassin team for an epic adventure. A Graveyard Shift co-writer, Marc Poulton, and artist the good Mike McMahon, bring the biggest USAssassin adventure to Indiegogo today, which is it today? Today, people. Right now. Don't go over there right now. Wait till Bear's show gets done, but I do go check that out. Joining them, USAssassin number 4, Dogs of War, legendary Roddy Piper, star, and the mercenary Flip Gordon returns as well, as long as Sea Dog and a Viking Wolf in search of the missing team number. Bazooka Dog's missing! Oh my god! I hope they find him. One of Bear's favorites out here. So, have you been following along the USAssassin? Go check it out, people. Looks like he's having some fun there. I don't know where the ammo is coming from, but that's all right. That's all right. We don't have to worry about that. Anyways, it goes on. There is Bazooka Dog right there. Yes, indeed. So you can go check that out on Indiegogo if you so desire, people. If you so desire. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, Bear has. He was surprised. Actually, I'm a little hot here. Let me turn that down. I apologize. Blowing people out. La, 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 la. There we go. Bear has a surprise for all of you, as Bear was surprised. I'm going to see Amy here. Let's see. Hi, Bear. Great to see you, she says. Well, thank you. Say hello to Melissa as well. All right, but enough of that jibber jabber. Bear actually does have a great surprise for you good people, but you need to give him uno momento. So let me get it all situated, and I will be... Talk amongst yourselves, people. Talk amongst your shells. Bear will be right back. Right back. Do the thing with the thing. Let's see if it works. Well, where's my headphones at? 1 second, people. All this technology has Bear turned around. I can hear myself. La 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 la. La. Yeah, I think that works. Maybe a little bit higher. All right, there we go. Well, now I'm way far out. All right, let me turn that one on. There we go. There we are. Finally working. Hello, Shells. Held any books lately, says Amy. There we go. Speaking of books, let's get right on into it, people, because we actually have, if Bear can find it here. There we go. A box to open, people. Yes, indeed. Live right here on Bear's channel. Of course, he's got the marker right in the way. That's not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to see that. But there we are, people. We've actually got kind of a mystery box. I think I know who it is. If it is, they kind of screwed up, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But let's go ahead, open a box. Opera Bear, la 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 la. All right, so let's go ahead, get right on into it, people. Let me turn that one down. That would help. Yeah, so Bear has just been box opening left and right here lately. We got the, where is it? Got the Inglorious Rex just the other day. Hopefully you got to see, oops, dang it. Hopefully you got to see the box open that Bear did in HDR, which we'll get to in just a minute. Hopefully you got to check that one out. Good stuff there. So, got a package here. You know the drill. Bear, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. You know the thing. So, let me go ahead, get that out of the way. Get the old trusty knife here. Let's open it up. Find out what is in there. PMI says, that's better. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right. From Critical Blast. Critical Blast out of Arkansas, apparently. So, there we are. There's that thing with the thing. Let's get right on into it. Kind of a interesting package here. Serrated edge? Is there a serrated edge, people, to make Bear's life that much, there we go, that much easier? Maybe? Possibly? Well, screw it. Let me just cut it open. Probably be for the best, people. We tried to do this with the Godlike shirt that Bear got. It was actually shipped separately. And they had the same sort of packaging in there, which made it a little hard to get into. All right, people, let's take a guess. Let's take a guess. Can anybody take a guess maybe what it might be? I will wait here for just a moment. Oh, good to see Steven here. He says, sup, Bear. Well, sup to you, sir, and or madam. Glad that you're here. Glad that you were enjoying a box open of a mysterious package that Bear got in the mail while he was trying to get to the freaking garbage. Whoa! Postman came up, yada, yada, yada. We all know the drill, people. We all know the drill. Very, very basic packaging here. More tape, of course. More tape. There we go. There's that. It is a Gemini mailer. So it is comic books instead of freaking home delivery of salmon. One of these days, people. One of these days. Bear will get some home delivery of salmon. All right. Any guesses? No guesses? Well, let's guess together, people, because we've got a Fiendish. There we go. Look at there. Number 2. 2.5. Numero uno. There we go. I think I've got number 1, if Bear remembers correctly. I never got number 2. Still need to read it. Gosh dang it, people, one of these days. But there we go, people. A Fiendish. Look at there. 1, 2, and 2.5. Nothing there. I was looking to see if there's any cards. Nope, not there. Let's see, can we see those? We can see those. Maybe there's a card in here. Let's see if we can find that out. There is. Look at there. All this stuff. All this great stuff. Let's go ahead and open it. Let's go ahead and see what's inside here. I'll leave the other 2 in the package here, and we'll get to those maybe another day. I still need to read 1, so we'll do 1, 2, and then if Bear remembers correctly, 2.5 is kind of a prequel. If Bear recalls correctly. Done by another artist. It wasn't Irenee. It was, and I'll get to it in just a second. For crying out loud. It's always something, people. Always something. There we go. Get out of the way. There you go. Fiendish, 2.5. Pretty cool. We'll get to that in just a second. We'll put that up. We've got a blank piece of paper. We've got, here we go. There we are. Interesting. Very interesting there. I'll put that. Sorry, Mom. Sorry about that. Don't mean to cover you up. And of course, okay. This was the, if Bear remembers correctly, it was the Indiegogo cover. So the one that you see here was off of Fund My Comic. So this is actually the first book that Bear got off of Fund My Comic. So it'd be interesting to see. The Fund My Comic ended, and then they started up the Indiegogo campaign. So I don't know if the Indiegogo campaign has gotten their books yet or not. That would be kind of interesting to see there. Okay, let's see. Does it stay? Does it stay? Close enough. Close enough. And we've got I'm assuming a bookmark. Can we see that? There we go. There we are. Fiendish. I feel misled, says Stephen. Well, there we go. There we are. Oh, because of the title. Because we'll get to that in just a second. We'll get to it in just a second, people. I literally had no idea what was in here. So just bear with Bear here. Bear with Bear. Interesting. There we are. Is that a horse? Some sort of horse, I guess. Not sure. And a scary-looking dude. Scary-looking dude. Here we are. Let's see. Can we see that? There we are. Interesting stuff. Let me just crack this open. Kind of see what we got on the inside here. Let's see. Story, layouts, and lettering by Irenee. Pencils and inks by Michael Rush book. That's who it was. Interior colors, Jake Harold. I believe that is Hyper Wizard, if I remember correctly. So anyways, there we go. There is all that. Looking pretty good. The colors are all right. Colors aren't bad at all. It's a thin book. Look at that. That's a lot thinner than the other ones, I think. Yeah, this is a lot thicker. So if Bear remembers correctly, it's kind of a prequel story. So I'm just going to go to a random page here with some guy's eye. There we go. That's what you want to see. Some guy's eye. And the kitty. Oh, the kitty cat. There we are. So there you are. There you are. Rush Book. That is the name of the fella that drew the comic here. Yes, indeed. Here we are. All right. Well, I don't want to mislead anyone out there. Like I said, I just open it. By the way, let me just, for real brief, hold on one second. Let me find it here. You're going to find it. So it was called, what was it called? 1 second, people. 1 second, I'm trying to find it. Here we go. So I literally got an email today saying that this here package here was on its way. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've already got it. What the heck? So somebody, I think screwed up on the fulfillment center, and Bear got it before it even the email came. So there we go. There is that. So I thought that was kind of funny and interesting. Let's see. Some of the CG books hasn't been very good, but Fiendish art is really impressive. CG books art hasn't been very good. Grr indeed. But let me show this. This was talked about. Apologize, people. I am talking away from the microphone here. This was talked about a little bit on the what was that? The Kings show. I never really watched the Comicsgate Kings. Bear's got other things going on in the woods there, but I did want to make a mention since I did read it, and I thought it was really, really interesting here. By the way, thank you, Irenee. Great stuff here, Bear. One of these days we'll be checking out Fiendish 1, 2, and 2.5 here. Good stuff. If anybody got any questions, we'll talk about that in a minute. Had no idea what book was in here, so we found out here together. But let's get this out of the way, because I do want to talk a little bit about Inglorious Rex. Again, we're going to do a review and probably on Saturday. I was going to try to do it today, but just didn't work out. But I did want to make a mention of some of that. Pardon me, people. Gosh dang it. Come here. Come here for beer. Ah, there we go. There we are. There's that. There's that. There's that guy. Sorry, fella. There's that. All right, so there we go. Fiendish 2.5. Good stuff. Came in before the email. That's crazy. Craziness, people. Craziness. All right, get that out of the way. Thing with the thing. Yada, yada, yada. If you've seen the box open, you probably saw a lot of the stuff that came with the book here, so I'm not going to go through a whole lot of that. If you want to ask about it or something like that, that's fine. 1 second. Thing with the thing. There we go. So I can see what I'm doing here. So I did want to make mention here real briefly about Inglorious Rex. There was some talk on the... Bear saw it on John Malin's channel, so it was kind of the after show of the Kings. So I'm getting this kind of secondhand and whatnot. There was a lot of talk of his dialogue that he had in the book here. This is a Dale Keown cover. A lot of talk of the dialogue that he had in here. One of the things that Bear kind of going into it, the first book, one of the characters that Bear really liked was a character called Little T. Kind of a sort of Don King sort of character. If you don't know Don King, basically a fight promoter out there. Mike Tyson, that sort of deal. He had kind of the big hair and everything. It was kind of interesting seeing his character in the first book because he was kind of pulling the strings behind the scene and everything. Very interesting character. So I was looking forward to checking it out again this time. Let me see if I can find the page here. 1 second, people. Talk amongst your shells. If I can find it. I mean, some great people talk about artwork. There you go. There's a nice little piece there. Pretty cool. I like it. I like the artwork in here. I think his artwork in the second book is good or, if not better, in the second book. I do think it's good. I do think the book is good. And Bear would recommend it, but you're going to need to wait till the review before we discuss big issues on it. But I just wanted to point this out. There's an issue with, here's Little T right here. There he is. Little T. He's a little guy. Little fella there. Little fella. Anyways, he had some stuff on here where he was talking, and I'm trying to find it here. 1 second here, people. Thing with the thing. I know where I seen it at. He had a really weird dialogue that he would be going through. You want to have a character that has a sort of unique flavor or unique kind of either rhythm or accent to whatever they're saying out there. So they got this. And let me just show you one. Here is Little T here. There he is right there. I hope I can zoom in as close as I can to it without it blurring. Is it gonna blur? It is gonna blur. I'm sorry, people. For some reason, whenever you're live streaming, it doesn't do any of the other lenses on here. But let me see if I can kind of read along with you guys if you can kind of see it here. He says, let's see. Well, I'll be damned. Anatomic has come out of hidden, in other words, hiding. Come out of hiding, and one hell of a accusation. One day I propose we settle in Duck Cage. Alex Stone versus Anatomic, and Alex is over there saying, I don't think that's right. That's right, Alex. You don't dink, you pilot 232. I do the dinkin', and I dink we need to see ya deserve the crown. Lots of D's. Or did you steal the opportunity away from Anatomic when she stole her fight with gun? What do you say? And what do you say? Anatomic, you want me to take your Rex, Razor out of the commission, Q for a shot at Duck Round. And that's just kind of one example. He kind of does the same thing over and over and over again there. So it was really really hard to read little T there. He went between like 3 or 4 different accents. Like one was a Caribbean sort of accent. Bear kind of grew up in the Caribbean. So Bear knows his 1, 2 trees, man. So they have an issue with the TH, so 1, 2 tree instead of 1, 2, 3. But in the same dialogue box or in the same sentence, you would go from, taking out the TH to putting in a TH somewhere. So it went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Bear had to read some of the dialogue from little T like 3 or 4 times. I could understand what he was saying, and I can understand why Shane might have had this kind of going in his head of how the guy sounded. But he really needed to sound it out like Bear just did there to see that, man, that is not, that doesn't work very well. So the thing the other night on the Post Kings or whatever the John Malin show was there, they were talking about that. Apparently, one of the things that Bear was going to say was it needed another, like, a pass or two for the for especially the dialogue, especially little T's dialogue in the book. I thought the book was really good, but it really took it away. It really kind of made you you're trying to suspend your disbelief, and all of a sudden it just kind of comes back, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on, so that took it away. Apparently he had notes from, I think, Malin and also possibly Uncle E, and just kind of disregarded it or didn't take the notes there. It really needed another pass or two on some of the dialogue there to crispen it up. Also, spoiler alerts, little T is apparently in charge of the entire city. I thought he was just like a fight promoter. So kind of odd. Just some stuff that was out of left field. I do like the book. We'll wait for the review, but good book. I thought the artwork in there was pretty good. Probably better than the second book. More expansive. More, I'll just say that they go outside the city. If you've read the book, you know what Bear's talking about. If you haven't, we'll just leave it there. I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah, the dialogue in there was just a little iffy, a little off. I wish that he would have taken like another pass or two on there and really kind of drilled it down. He's got a great character in Little T, and he's got the appropriate, I guess, street dialogue there in the city, but it just needed a little bit more kind of a second pass, another look over, somebody else kind of helping out and saying, hey, slow your roll with all the does and da, like there was one where it was like, dis, dear, dome, dare, or something like that, and it's like, that's too many D's, man. You got too much alliteration going on in Inglorious Rex. So, anyways, kind of a very short review. Would recommend the book. Go check out the first book, though. He does a really good job of... again, I don't want to spoil it here or spoil the review, but he does a really good job of bringing people up to date that either haven't read the book or if it's been a while, bringing people back up to date. The first couple pages or so. Bear thinks he could have done a better job with it, but he did a good enough job where it brought everybody up to speed. So I think he did a good job there. Some other good aspects of it as well, but definitely go check out the first book. And then see if that's your cup of tea. So there we go. There is the Inglorious Rex. Oh, I am pointing at it, and it's out of the way. I apologize, people. You have to use your little T voice. Bear was trying. Bear, he might be black, but he doesn't, he ain't down with the lingo, as it were. Do that, da 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 da. It's like 5 different, dialects from around the country. So Shane did say that it was intentional, and that in the third book, it'll be kind of explained why a sort of fight promoter is, in that high level position, and he's kind of talking like a street thug. So we'll see. I would say that that's fine if it was like a book that was coming out every month or so, but when you're going a year in between books, or I forget, 8, 9 months, whatever it was, sometimes people forget or, reading other books and they don't remember some of the stuff. So, that was a little, the dialogue was a little tough for Bear, but he will do his darn best to da 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 da. I don't know if he was, I don't know if Eric July was the inspiration for all that, but anyways, very interesting book. Do go check it out. I think, if Bear remembers, there's a second chance campaign, and book number 3 is going to be coming out here pretty shortly. So be on a lookout. Be on a lookout. Let me turn out the other microphone here so people can see me, hear me. I don't know how you could see Bear through the microphone, but there you go. Let me test here. Give you all Bear's operatic voice here. La. There we go. That sounds good. All right. Kitties improve most stories. That's true, Amy. That is true. I guess the character is not very good at accents, but he tries them anyways because he thinks it makes him fancy. Da-da-do-da-da. Da-da. If the creators of Fiendish won't take Malin or EVS's advice, maybe they'll take advice from a talking bear. Yeah, Inglorious Rex. Yeah. This book right here. Yes, indeed. Hopefully. Shane, send Bear your notes or early script or something like that. Bear will he might not listen to Bear, but I'll make some notes. I'll give some advice out there for sure. Link is down in the description if you want to talk to old Bear here. There you go, man. All right. Well, Bear did mention that we got. I'll show it here. This is a huge, thick book. That would be Godlike. Have not read that. Have not read Godlike just yet. But I do want to get the chat's opinion out here. Do have an opinion that Bear is going to ask. Art is very selective. Some people like some pieces of art. Other people don't. Some people like the Jackson Pollock art. Others like, yeah, that's just some dude slinging paint on a wall there. Not my style. So I've got Bear got the tier where he's got some original art from old John Malin. Got some original art from John Malin. One of the first, if not the first, live show that Bear did was actually opening up Graveyard Shift number 2. That also was the artist tier. And it was funny because Bear had ordered 2. Bear had ordered 2 of the artist copy, and it came with a drawing that John Malin did. We opened it up live, the second box. The drawing that Bear got was like practically identical to the previous drawing that he got. Maybe his eyes were squinted a little bit different, or maybe there's a couple blood splots or something like that. It was the Blood character, the vampire character, the main character. So it was practically identical. So I have, yes, P-Money, your opinion. So Bear wants your opinion on some John Malin art, okay? So I want an opinion on this piece of godlike art that Bear got from old John Malin here. So let me picture in your mind first a drawing from John Malin, okay? And it's from Godlike, okay? All right, you've got that in your mind. Got that in your mind of what a hand drawing from John Malin might look like in a character from, and I don't know which character it is. Just flip through the book. A character from Godlike, okay? You've got that in your head? All right, I need your opinion. I hope we can see that. I hope it's not washed out. Here, let me bring it a little bit closer. See if that helps. There you go. For the book Godlike. The book Godlike here. Hopefully that stays. There we go. Let's bring it a little closer so we can see. Here we are. There we are. All right. Opinions, please. Opinions, please. Let's see. P-Money says, well, John Malin is a good artist, for sure. There's a reason he was often hired by Marvel. Indeed. Indeed. I'm not saying it's bad. I just want opinions. Just want opinions out there for you good people. Let me see if I can get a little closer to the camera so people can check that out. And are we sure this is Malin's art? Well, it was in the Godlike book. It was in the packaging. You'll see in the box opening. You will see that it at least came from him. It at least came from him. Let's see if we can get a... I hope it doesn't... There we go. It's not bad. There we go. Here we are. Here we are with the signature on there. There we go. I'm getting some laughing. Getting some laughing in the chat. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Not sure if the laughing is a good thing or a bad thing. I guess he got very fast at drawing this character. I said it kind of looked like a towel or a rag over the guy's head. It just looks like it's a piece of cloth that's over the guy's head. I don't know. I have no idea. Have just barely flipped through the book. I don't think it's this guy. I don't think it's the lady character. It could be. I don't know. But there we go. I don't know the character there. Neither does Bear, Abby. Neither does Bear. P-Money says, I love Malin's art, but, did he use his foot? Did he use his foot? Maybe. Maybe this is the new... You know, he had so many drawings to do. If you've been watching some of his shows, you know, he's just sitting on the couch, you know, at night, just kind of drawing, live streaming, not paying attention to the chat, just sitting there drawing. So maybe he's, you know, drawing with a hand and also a foot. That could be a possibility. That definitely could be a possibility out there. So anyways, anyways, I just wanted to show that I have Bear has opinions. Bear has opinions, but wanted to hear from the good old chat out there what they thought about that. If you've been around long enough, and have watched the very first live stream, you saw where we opened that. I had the drawing from Graveyard Shift. I probably should find that whenever we do the review. Just kind of compare here, but. There we go. There is that. Just wanted the opinion from the chat out here to see what it's all about here. P-Money says, you know what? I'm the. Let's see. You know what? I'm the end. At the end, I think he's saying I'd be thrilled to have original Malin art. Yeah, I know he doesn't. He's all digital, so. You know, you don't get a lot. You don't get a lot. So that's why Bear got it and everything. I'm glad with it. I'm happy. I don't have any. Don't feel like Bear is complaining or anything like that. I just thought it was very. I didn't recognize the character, and I'm like, oh, that's a interesting drawing that he did there. I don't know if it was the end of the night, and he was like, okay, let me get through this one real quickly here for Bear and get to bed or something. So. We shall see. I'm with you, P-Money. I am with you. I think it's a nice piece. I don't know if it is like, hey, let me hang this up in the wall on a place of prominence out there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. By the way, it actually came with Visions 2. So if you've seen the Visions book, a number of different artists out there kind of. Have a compilation of either John Malin's work or their own work that they draw, kind of like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. So it was great to see let's see, Narwhal in there, and also Kevin Sharp was in there with a great piece. He did a really good job with that one. So whenever we do the review for that, we'll show some of all that stuff. But I just wanted people to get a sneak peek at the Malin art and see what the opinions are. Like Cobra Commander. Yeah, it does look like Cobra Commander. Did he sign it? Yeah, right here. Oh, you might not be able to see it. Let me bring it up here. Let me bring it up. It's right. Can we see that? There we go. And you can see it's the same there as well. So, I mean, unless he's got somebody else signing his books, I would assume that is his there. So, I tell you what, people, you don't often see a Godlike, if I can get it here, Inglorious Rex and a Fiendish, all in the same package, man. You just don't see that very often. So I know a lot of people out there might be a little ticked off at Irenee. That's right. Irenee loves Bear, and Bear returns the favor as well. So Cobra Commander with Ray-Bans. There you are. There you are. Let me put this back so we can see that. We can see that. Here we go. There we go. Anyways, I just wanted to get the chat's opinion. Yeah, that is I don't know. Can we see that? Let me. Yeah, right. You can barely see it right there. It's at the bottom of the screen. I can push it back, I guess. There we go. Although it gets a little faded there. Gets a touch faded, people. Yes, indeed. So, just very quick, even though I haven't checked anything out on Godlike, looks great. Looks terrific. The coloring in there is terrific. It looks like has a whole bunch of different paneling ideas that he's going through, including the sort of John Malin-esque long panels that he does. So, looks great. Looks great. It's just very... Man, it is a thick book. I was looking for the, all the credits, like at the front of the book. I couldn't find it in the box review. I was going page by page by page. I was like, what the heck? There is like a sort of coda or introduction chapter that's like 15 pages long. That's before you even get to the start of the book, apparently. So that's where all the credits were. It's like 15 or 20 pages in. So... it is a big, thick work that he has done here. So, looks really good. Just want to check it out and read it. And we will put it up against Inglorious Rex, hopefully Saturday. I hope to do it Saturday. If not, it'll have to be next week. But I want to kind of get the review out there. I think everybody else is starting to get theirs, so I don't want to... Beer doesn't want to be late, people. Gosh dang it. That's what Beer doesn't want. So anyways, let me do... Oh, and by the way, if you didn't see it the last time, the Godlike shirt. Let's see, can we see that? Sorry, people. Move that back. There we go. There you go. You still owe Bear a drink, John Malin. Gosh dang it. One of these days. These days, Mr. Malin. Bear will get his beer. Yes, he will. All right, 1 second, people. Let me go back here. And we'll get right back into it. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, test. Law. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I hope that didn't. Bear wasn't trying to mislead anybody or anything like that. I thought it was a pretty cool thumbnail, and we were talking a little bit about Inglorious Rex. I just happened to get the package in, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to cause any confusion out there between people. It's like, hey, wait a minute. pulling an old switcheroo on us, Bear. No, just, we got an entire hour. We can't all do it all at once. You just got to stretch. I'm not trying to stretch it out, but you got one thing after the other. We'll get to that. We will get to that. All right, let me see. 1 second here. Where's my thing? Turn that on. Oh, people. Let's see. Should we go there? Bear will not go through all the woo flu stuff that came out in the last week. Hopefully you've been paying attention. Mask didn't work. That's right, YouTube. Mask didn't work. Social distancing, just came out of the blue. I had no idea. Whatever. Very interesting stuff, but I am going to hold that for you good people. I don't want to confuse anybody else, but I did have one item here I wanted to, if you would indulge Bear here, please. If you would indulge Bear for just one article here. I got this kind of as a continuation of the theme that we've kind of developed over the past couple shows, talking a little bit about Hollywood, where it's going and why it's falling on its face. So if you can indulge Bear here for just 1 second. Oh, by the way, this was I thought, not going to make any mention, I just thought that was pretty funny. The guy behind the Fouch here, I thought that was pretty funny in his lie fest extraordinaire. The guy behind him is supposed to be thrown in jail. The guy making the faces. Fouch, completely free. Completely free. Thanks, Fouch. Oh gosh, woo flu stuff, not in the mood, says P-Money. Okay, no, I barely mentioned it, man. Barely mentioned it. Just said it was on his radar before diverting elsewhere. Why isn't this showing up? Gosh dang it, what the hell's going on here? What the heck? What's going on? 1 second here, people. Why is this not doing the thing? Professional show. There we go. All right. Will it do it? It'll do it, man. It'll do it. All right. So if you've actually seen the box open for Inglorious Rex, I know, people, we're making connections. We're making connections here. If you've seen Bear's box open of Inglorious Rex and the Godlike one coming up here, hopefully next week maybe, they have been in what's called HDR. We'll talk about that in just a second here. But I wanted to check out this article, let's see, from Variety. And Caroline, what is it? Oh, where is my freaking glasses at, man? Glardina? Something along those lines. I don't know, man. P-Money says, I trust the honesty of the guy making the face over anything Fauci says. You just said you weren't in the mood, for crying out loud. Bear will not make any more mentions of that. There you go, man. There you go. All right, if you will bear with Bear here for just a moment, it's not a long article, but it makes a great point here. Makes a great point. Carolina Giardina? I don't know. Something along those lines. Bear with Bear here. It's going to be a little bit thick on some of the terms here. If you've got any questions, I will answer them, but just bear with Bear here. The potential to bring high dynamic range imagery to the masses. Oh, for crying out loud. You can't go one sentence without it being some sort of communist manifesto. These people are freaking idiots. Morons. All right, anyways. Offering a palette to the masses in cinemas, offering a palette with brighter whites and deeper blacks, how dare you, has been getting a lot of attention thanks to a Belgian projector maker named Barco and the launch of its HDR by Barco projectors. Overall, the pace seems to be quickening with the participation of a growing number of manufacturers and the ever confusing stakeholders. I guess you're holding a stake in your hand. All right, HDR, high dynamic range. Very briefly, think of it as two separate but equal things that are going on. Number one, you have color. So there is a range of color out there in HDR that is a higher dynamic range than what you're seeing. Like literally, like, where is it? 1 second. Of course, bear. Right there. That would be in SDR, what they call standard dynamic range. You've seen some of the videos that Bear's done with HDR, so it's completely a little bit differently there. Think of it this way. Think of it as SDR is your box of crayons when you got as a kid. It was the small box. You know, it had plenty of colors in there. You did fine and everything, but, you know, the cool kid came to class one day and he brought his, you know, the huge box of coloring. That is like HDR. So SDR has, you know, millions of colors. HDR has billions of colors. So you have a whole lot more range, whole lot different options. The other peg to that is contrast ratio, which also is labeled as lumens. So again, brighter whites and deeper blacks out there, just as kind of a variation. So what we're talking about is movie theaters bringing HDR into their theaters. Ah, okay, all right, there we go. In June, there will be an opportunity for a select paying audience to experience this tech with Inside Out 2, Pixar's anticipated sequel to its 2016 Oscar winner. The animation studio is rendering a version of the movie that will take advantage of HDR's wider color gamut and will play in limited number of cinemas around the world that offer direct view displays. It goes on talking about that, that have met the HDR technical spec created by the Consortium of Digital Cinema Initiatives, people. DCI is what they call it. Sounds great, right? Sounds terrific. Hey, they're bringing out a new version of Inside Out 2 to select theaters out there that only the very important people can watch out there. And you might not be one of them just because you can't go to a fancy theater that plays HDR. Chances are that if you have a cell phone in the last 7-8 years or so, if you've had a TV in the last, 10 years or so, if you've had a computer, a decent computer or a decent monitor out there in the last, 5 years or so, you already got it. In fact, Disney Plus already streams in HDR. So what they're saying is this whole thing, this whole shebang here, is they're bringing in tech to the movie theaters that has been in your home or actually in your hand for the past 5 to 10 years. Brilliance. Geniuses galore out here. Geniuses galore. I like how you put that, says P-Money. Pixar is now using a larger box of crayons. They already have. You could probably watch, what was it? Inside Out, the first one. It's probably already in HDR on Disney Plus. They don't have to do anything. they don't have to do anything. It was already there. But thank you, P-Money. More color is nice. Can we get some decent writing? There you go. They need a larger box of pencils for better writing. All right, let's get into it here, people. These people are betters, and they are smarter. It's still very limited number of screens. There's roughly 15 manufacturers with such displays possible available. About 100 installed worldwide at this point. In fact, they came up with it. Let me find it here. There you go. So actually, that's not even part of that. So you got the older lamp-based digital projectors. That was around the time of Avatar, the first movie. So they spent, if you remember, if you're older than 29 years old, you may remember that they had the analog movie projectors out there, which would have the film in there. Now most of them are digital, so they replaced a lot of those 15 years ago or so. Laser projectors are the newer ones out there, and then the larger format screens. So even the HDR screens is even a smaller percentage of that. 200K studio or movie theaters out there around the world. So, not a big dent out there. Not a big dent. Let's see. In the U.S., Samsung's Onyx was the first to come to market. It's currently installed in a handful of theaters, including in sites in Houston and L.A. We're very excited in general about the future of cinema that's been in your hands for the past 5 to 10 years, as it relates to opportunities for storytelling. Good luck with that. Says Pixar's senior scientist. They have scientists over there. Adding that Pixar is exploring the potential of all types of cinema, including that could offer HDR or 4K. People, you can go into your big box store right now and not only get an HDR TV, but also a 4K TV. So essentially, 4K is resolution. So very early on TV, it was 480. HD was 720 and 1080. So you're probably watching right now on 720. And then they bumped it up to 4K in the past 10 years or so. They've got 8K televisions, but don't waste your money on that. HDR is kind of the opposite side of the coin, so it's doing light and also color out there. You already have all this, people. You could buy a relatively cheap phone, and it has both of those things that they're going to bring to theaters someday. Maybe. It does lead to new opportunities to tell stories and bring immersion to audiences. You've already been doing that for 10 years, at least. Earlier, Pixar had rendered HDR versions of Lightyear and Elemental for direct view screens that met its criteria. Yeah, it's called Disney+. Though the number of screens was even fewer at that point. Earlier this year, the studio gave theatrical release to Soul, Turning Red, and Luca. Pandemic-era movies that went straight to streaming, which also included an HDR version for the select direct view screenings. Those movies that they put to Disney Plus were probably already in HDR. So you could have watched it at home in better quality than you could see it in the theaters. And they're trying to draw you back by saying, hey, you can come see the movie that you've already seen in the quality that you already like at your house at a theater and paying quite a lot for it. Yay. Barco intends to start a pilot program for its HDR by Barco laser projectors this fall, including installations at select AMC theaters, yada, yada, yada. That's expected to run through the end of the year, with rollout of these projected permanent sites expected in 2025. More privately, a Toronto headquarters cinema tech developer Christie has been offering invite-only R&D technology demonstrations for in-development HDR projection system. Let me grab a drink. P-Money says, and how much are movies going to cost for the HDR colors? I'm glad you asked about that, P-Money. Movie theaters went into debt. Let me bring it back up here. They went into debt many years ago with the HDR, or the Avatar craze. Trying to take the theaters and put a whole bunch of 3D movies. So after Avatar, I mean, it was like a movie every other week that was coming out in 3D, even though it wasn't even filmed in 3D. There's like, everybody loves 3D. So they spent a whole bunch of money putting in these brand new, what they call Xeon lamp digital projectors out there. And that's a majority of them in the world out there. Higher priced ones are the laser projectors. It's cut off here, but large formats. That's the big but not quite IMAX size screens out there. The PLFs and the IMAX are the big ticket movie. They're the ones that you pay the most money to go see. So probably, since they're rolling them out into very select markets, you're going to be paying more for that than the PLF. The PLF, which is already pretty expensive. Okay, you can go to the movie theater for the big widescreen that you can't see at the house. There's another one where the chairs rumble and stuff like that. I forget the name of it. You can't really get that at the house unless somebody's shaking your chair. Bear will come by. Just give him some popcorn. I'll shake your chair. So, pardon me. So you'll probably be paying even more money than IMAX or PLF for a product that you already get, and it's not even that good. Let me go on. Oops. VIP, the Variete, was invited to a demo that features a currently available Christie laser projector equipped with some developing software. According to a rep, a Christie's laser projector for the size of a given venue, coupled with the software, could enable the tech to reach an amazing 300 nits. That is the measure of brightness. Actually, it's a marketing term, but that's right. It also lumens. You might be. It's back and forth, but essentially how bright something is. Measure of brightness DCI is set as the benchmark for HDR cinema. So standard definition or standard dynamic range. Let me go back to it. Where is it? Nope, not that one. Oh, I've been doing it the entire time. Okay, so that right there, that's SDR. It has a limit, a peak. If you pointed the sun right at pointed the camera right at the sun, the peak level of brightness would be 100 nits. Okay? Get off of that. There we go. They're saying we're going to reach 300 nits of brightness. Bear routinely, including last night and the Inglorious Rex, those are mastered at 1,000 nits. Theoretically, you can go to 10,000 nits, but it's like looking directly into the sun. You'll burn your retinas out. You don't need to go that high. 1,000's plenty high enough. The brand new iPad that came out had a brightness of, I believe, peak of is either 15 or 1,700 with a normal of about 1,200 nits. They can't even get to half of what Bear does on a 7 or 8-year-old camera that he has to trick the software into using HDR and bringing it into his computer and doing all that sort of stuff. Bear's been doing that since 2020. The movie theaters are trying to get to 300 nits next year sometime. Maybe. I don't know. Amy says, no, I won't be paying more for anything. Good for you. Good for you. But I would invite Bear over for movies and popcorn. Oh, thank you, Amy. Hey, you can't have the experience of stepping on stale popcorn while finding your seats at home, I guess, unless you never sweep your floor at home. Well, Bear doesn't. I guess you could scatter some bird seed before you hit the play button. That's true. Staring at the sun doesn't increase a brightness in my experience. It makes my eyes go dark. Yeah, don't do that. People, do not stare at the sun. The more you know. Both Barco and Christie use their laser projections for these HDR models. Standard dynamic range laser projectors. That's like not even the majority of them out there. Are the current top of the line cinema system, which have been steadily replacing older Xeon lamp technology. We talked about that. Neither company announced pricing for its HDR tech. You could go out right now and buy an iPhone 15 Pro for about $1,000. There's your HDR that has better display tech and probably better capturing tech than you would find. Probably, I don't know if it's said on here or not. No, it didn't say. Let me find it. I thought it was in the article here. Yeah, here we go. LED displays, not even the laser. 300,000. So probably double that for the laser. 600,000. So you're probably talking about maybe just shy of $1 million per projector. Significantly more expensive. So about $1 million. let's just say it's $1 million per projector, and you've got let's just say a 10 theater, 10 projectors that you need to put into your multiplex out there. That is $10 million upfront cost that you got to pay. That's addition to finally paying off your Xeon lamps that you might have taken a while to get. That's addition to maybe you upgraded to laser ones on some of the fancier theater options that you have. So maybe you're finally getting that paid off. They went all in with the seats, with the reclining seats and all this other stuff. That took theater owners to the cleaners on that one. They spent a lot of money for that, not a whole lot of return. Now they're saying, hey, to put in something that would be equivalent to your iPhone or television at your house is going to cost approximately $1 million per theater. These people are geniuses. The LED option could involve retrofitting a theater to make accommodations for weight, size, power, AC requirements, etc. It also means rethinking the sound configuration, which many see as an obstacle facing this type of tech. But there's still work to be done, including on messages, particularly with HDR. I think we as an industry haven't been good about defining what it means and what an audience should expect, Glenn says. Glenn, seppuku, sir. I think if you film that in HDR and put that out as your promotional material, that might work. That could work. How quickly could it happen? Not soon enough. This could be a topic when the International Exposition community gathers at Cine Europe, set for June 17th. Or you could just Zoom call it. What do you need there in Barcelona? I mean, other than, cocaine and underage hookers. That's right, YouTube. I said cocaine. A March 2023 Cinema Foundation survey found that 53% of residents plan to upgrade at least some of their projectors in their auditoriums, and 39% plan to add more PLF screens within 3 years. More money. So, once again, let me just read this. Of course, the current cinema climate could impact that forecast. You think? The summer box office is off to a slow start as Furiosa, a Mad Max is nowhere to be seen saga, opened to 50, let's just say 60 million worldwide last weekend. So that is, even if you took all of the money from Furiosa, you would have enough money to do, I don't know, maybe what, 3 or 4 major theater in different cities, about 60 of them or so. That's if you took everything. So yeah, the worst holiday weekend performance in nearly trace decades, with the exception of the pandemic. Blah, 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 blah. And they're still holding out hope. Inside Out 2, Despicable Me, Deadpool, and Wolverine. So people, it blows Bear's mind. It really blows Bear's mind. It boggles at people. It boggles it for many, many reasons. Movies always used to be at the forefront of technology. So the early days of cinema out there, they had, motion pictures. Holy cow, this picture actually is in motion. Holy cow, this train is coming into the station. I gotta hide behind my seat. Ah! That started it. It was the technology that really pushed cinema. Sound, for example, audiovisual. That was movies. That was Warner Brothers. They were going broke. They needed something to save the studio. They came out with The Jazz Singer. See if Warner Brothers remakes The Jazz Singer. That movie came out. They did really well because it was the first movie with sound. Holy cow, I can listen to my movie. And then wide screens, and then color. Color, people. Color. Yes, I know. Craziness. Crazy. And then they did, 3D and all this other stuff. Craziness. It was always the lead. It was always ahead. Television came out and they says, we need wider screens. So your television, they used to have this sort of square look to it. You go to your movie theater, it was wider. Holy cow. Some of them had color. Television still had black and white. at the time. So movies used to be at the forefront of technology. Now they are 10 freaking years behind at $1 million a pop just to be able to catch up. And not even a good way. Like I said, I know it's a little bit in the weeds, but 300 nits compared to 1,200? Get out of here, man. Get out of here. And then you're going to spend, I don't know, people. I mean, some people are saying, hey, I got into the movie theater for free. I still had to pay $20 for popcorn. So, I don't know, $20 a ticket plus $20 in popcorn plus this and that parking. All this other stuff. Babysitter, maybe. That's easy. $100. That's just for yourself. Forget about your date or your family or anything like that. So, Pixar key to HDR cinema expansion. It already is expanded right into your pocket. You can pull out your phone while you're watching Pixar and say, hey, the quality of, Inside Out 1 is better on my 3-year-old phone than it is in the latest iteration of whatever they're putting out in the movie theaters. Yay, people. Yes, Amy, the more you know. Let's see. So they should take down all the museums since most of their paintings aren't backlit. Well, I hope not. I sure hope not. They are really trying to destroy the theaters. Man, oh man. They had a really good Red Letter Media video the other day talking about that. Their version was to make everything either A, cheaper and more mass market, or make it very expensive and very selective. They were giving the example of the Taylor Swift movie concert. I had no idea. They were dancing in the aisles and all this other stuff, crazy stuff. So maybe events, stuff like that. Something that would be good with this, if they ended up doing it, isn't movies. It would be movies. I don't think that would be the case. I think it would be video games. I think people would love to play a huge widescreen at a movie. Might be a way to go. They're 10 years late, and they're trying to catch up with $1 million per projector. It boggles the mind, people. It literally boggles the mind. Though the reclining seats are nice, says Amy. Well, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, again, just wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you can watch it at your house. What's the point? So even... That's what Bear's trying to say. Even if you had all the greatest movies out there, you still have a number of issues out there in the movie theater world. So we'll see, people. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. But it's kind of funny. Bear kind of started off with the Furiosa stuff, saying, "Hey, this ain't looking too hot." And then YouTube personality after YouTube personality basically is repeating the same thing. So the old adage, people, you don't watch the show to know what's going on. You watch Bear's show to know what's going to go on. That would be a pretty amazing experience living in the late 1800s than seeing a movie for the first time. Yeah, you probably thought that Bear was joking. The first, what was it? Something train coming into the station. Something station. I forget the name of it. It was French. The Lumiere brothers. One of the very first motion picture people. They figured out how to do that. It was just a train coming into the station. It was kind of head on. So you saw the train coming into the station there. People in the movie theaters thought that the train was going to come through the screen and hit them. So they jumped. They jumped out of the way. They hid underneath their chairs. No, watch out. I guess it was the very first horror movie. They thought it was going to hit them. So, anyways, kind of funny. Pretty funny there. So, but again, no sound. No sound. So they had to play the music actually in the theater right there. So they'd be playing the piano or whatever was going on. Some of the later ones actually had records that would come out that would play along. But you had to start the record at the time, and then they figured out how to do what we're doing here. Sound, audio, visual, that sort of stuff. And that kind of changed the game. And of course, color, widescreen, went to town. That was old school Hollywood. Now we got the geniuses here, new school Hollywood. Not doing so hot, man. So that's why I say get rid of the current crop of executives. They have no idea what they're doing. Hey, 10-year-old tech is a great idea to put into movie theaters. No, you should have done it 10 years ago. You dummies, you big dopes. Big dopes, man, I tell you. I was just talking to my parents, says P Money, who said when they dated, they didn't have a lot of money to go to the restaurant, but they were a lot of films because it was so cheap. Oh, but they went to a lot of films. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, one of the other interesting things about the Red Letter Media, I'll have to link it later. I don't have it right in front of me here. They were talking about... what was it they were talking about? They were talking about I went out on beer. I'll remember it here in just a second. But you could go at a really cheap. I know the theatrical window. So they had, usually let's just say I don't know, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, whatever. A very popular movie would come out and it would be in the theaters until people stopped going to the theaters because if they could make money off of it, they would. And it wouldn't come, well, it would go to the dollar theaters and run for a certain amount of time. And you're like, oh, hey, I can go see the Indiana Jones film that I wanted to see, but I couldn't afford it. So you'd go to the dollar theater, $2 theater, be able to check it out there. And then maybe 6 months later, you might see it on VHS or Laserdisc. So you'd have that long window where even if it was an okay movie, it would come out in the dollar theater, and hey, those did really well. Nowadays, you got it 2 weeks, 3 tops, before it's literally on streaming. And it's like, usually that first week, you're waiting to hear, okay, I'm on the fence on this movie. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know. Let me wait to hear back from, whatever, my favorite YouTube personality, movie critic, whatever. That second week, it's like, well, gee, I only have another week to go, and then I can watch it at the house. Why bother go watch it at the theater? So that whole window is completely shrunk down. So, now instead of even going out, you can just stay at your home. Let's see. I feel slightly more bright green is not going to be nearly as impressive as Dorothy entering Oz from her black and white. That's true. Black and white house. There you go. True, says Melissa, and she also says hi, everyone. Hey, how are we? By the way, before we go, hi, we won. Oh, okay. Melissa is my best friend, tied for first place for the most awesome Lester. There you go. DNQ tonight. Is there going to be a drawn and quartered going on? I think I missed it last week. If they had it, I totally missed out. I would say that they should do Godlike as the topic tonight. There you go. Good to have you here, Melissa. Great to have you here. I hope you're doing well out there and enjoying yourself on a great Wednesday evening here with Bear. Talking about HDR. He's going off on a crazy tangent with HDR, just still talking about movies. We did talk about plenty of... Here, I'll show it. Did talk about plenty of comics here. We got Godlike. We got... I'll have to show this. 1 second. I got a interesting piece of artwork from John Malin. And we also did a box open. So fun stuff. I don't usually hear until 10 minutes beforehand. Ay. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you guys are able to do some stuff. And by the way, I forgot. Which one? Melissa, was it you that won a couple weeks back the D&Q? If so, congratulations. I thought that was pretty cool. I couldn't remember if it was Melissa or Amy that won. It was Melissa. It was. All right. Very cool. Congratulations, Melissa. Very good. Very good job out there. Anyways, you're looking at some very interesting artwork from John Malin. John Malin out there with his Godlike. We're going to be putting up a Godlike versus Inglorious Rex here. Hope to do it Saturday. That is a thick book, Godlike is. So I hope to be able to get through it, number one, and get some good notes on it as well. So we shall see. We shall see there. But there we go. There is. That was the reason for the title here, which apparently confused some people because Bear was doing a box open of Fiendish. And it's like, wait a minute, you called it Inglorious Bear, and you're opening up a Fiendish. What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Anyways, Cobra Commander in Ray-Ban, says Amy. That's what we're going to call it. A lot of the times when they put it up in, the Louvre or some fancy pants art place, they'll have the title underneath, This doesn't have a title, so Cobra Commander in Ray-Bans. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right. Oh, gosh, it's almost 9:30. And my freaking thing went out. Gosh dang it, Bear. There we go. Well, I don't need that anyways. Don't need that anyways because I got to say hello to everybody here and thank everybody. Let's see. P-Money, Amy, and Melissa. Steven, I hope you're still around. I hope I didn't chase you off with the box open there. Hope I didn't chase you off. And, of course, all of our Russian bots and lurkers. I want to... by the way, Bear had... I don't know what the heck was going on with the last show. I know there was more people watching. Bear had 4 thumbs up, thank you, and 3 viewers. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. Bear skipped a lot of his algebra in Bear School out there, but I'm pretty sure 4 is more than 3. So YouTube's probably screwing with Bear. Maybe it was the best. Maybe it was the best, P-Money, that he didn't go onto his Woo Flu rant and just did a HDR rant instead. All right, well, Amy, Melissa, I hope to see you guys over at the D&Q if they do it later. If not, come on back Saturday. Do this every Wednesday and Saturday evening, about 8 o'clock or so, whenever Bear can finally figure out how the plug goes into the socket, people. Still confuses and confounds him. Yes, indeed. But you know what, people? All of this talk about ingloriousness and bears has made Bear hungry. So he's going to head back into the woods. So until next time, people, grrr, a grrr. Good night, everybody.